Correlational research is a type of research method which two variables are observed in order to determine whether there is a statistically significant link between them.
Contrary to experimental research, which solely depends on scientific technique and hypothesis, this kind of study is descriptive.
Correlational study, for instance, may show the statistical link between high-income earners and relocation. That is, the likelihood that someone would migrate or not increases with money. Kim, can you tell me why correlational research is important?
Of course, John. Now let's talk about the importance. First, it has great importance as it will help you in making predictions. Next, it enables you to develop an understanding of the direction and strength of the relationship between two variables. And lastly, conducting a correlational study to measure customer attitudes is the perfect task for motivating and inspiring researchers. Now, Jam, can you differentiate to us the positive, negative, and no correlational research?
Okay, first, for the positive correlation, a positive relationship between two variables is when an increase in one variable leads to a rise in the other variable. A decrease in one variable will see a reduction in the other variable. For example, the amount of money a person has might positively correlate with the number of cars the person owns. Second is the negative correlation. A negative correlation is quite literally the opposite of a positive relationship. If there is an increase in one variable, the second variable will show a decrease and vice versa. For example, being educated might negatively correlate with the crime rate when an increase in one variable leads to a decrease in another and vice versa. If a country's education level is improved, it can lower crime rates. Please note that this doesn't mean that lack of education leads to crimes. It only means that a lack of education and crime is believed to have a common reason, which is poverty. Lastly, no correlation. There is no correlation between the two variables in this third type. A change in one variable may not necessarily see a difference in the other variable. For example, being a millionaire and happiness are not correlated. An increase in money doesn't lead to happiness.
And now we are going to give you examples of correlational research. So, okay, let me give you the first example of correlational research. First example, consider hypothetically. A researcher is studying correlation between cancer and marriage. In this study, there are two variables, disease and marriage. Let us say marriage has a negative association with cancer. This means that married people are less likely to develop cancer. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that marriage directly avoids cancer. It is a misconception that a correlational study involves two quantitative variables. However, the reality is two variables are measured, but neither is changed.
The second example is, you believe that domestic violence causes a brain hemorrhage. You cannot carry out an experiment as it would be unethical to deliberately subject people to domestic violence. However, you can carry out correlational research to find out if victims of domestic violence suffer brain hemorrhage more than non-victims.
And now, we are going to give you tips on how to conduct a correlational research.
The first tip is to make a claim or create a hypothesis. Making a claim or a hypothesis is often the first step in any study. In correlational studies, there may be or may not be a clear relationship.
The next step is to choose a data collection method. There are a few ways you can choose to collect your data depending on the information you want to understand. Three of the most common data collection methods are surveys, observation, and secondary data.
Third tip is to collect your data. Once you establish your method, collect the data. Consider a sample size that is big enough to determine correlation.
The fourth tip is to analyze the results. Analyzing data can help you identify if you have positive, negative, or no correlation. Although there may be a positive or negative correlation, a third variable still might be the cause.
And the last tip is to conduct additional research. Correlational studies can create causal hypotheses, which can lead to conducting more specified research with controlled variables or additional correlational studies.
So that's it, guys. We hope